Hey guys, this is going to be a review of the Xezo Maestro. But before I get into this, I just want to say this is actually the reason I got into the YouTube channel. I met someone at a party recently who was a fountain pen enthusiast, and she's like, hey, I've got a YouTube channel. So I was like, cool, I'll check it out, not expecting, more than a few followers. And I come to find out that she's one of the larger fountain pen people on YouTube, so much so that her videos got recommended to me just because I was looking up other fountain pen videos. So I want to say thank you to Erin for kind of inspiring me to just go ahead and make some content, because there's not a lot of content out there for stuff I enjoy, including fountain pens. So I'm going to take you on the same fountain pen journey I embarked upon. This was my first fountain pen. I came over from machined pens, which is big on Reddit if you go to r machined pens. But anyway, so I already, knew a lot about pens. I knew a lot about different refills and different inks in that world. So I came into fountain pens, and the common thought process is, you should start with a fine if you don't know what you're getting into with fountain pens, because a fine size nib that is going to be more akin to what you're used to with everyday pens. The ink's going to be more predictable. So I did that. So I got a fine nib in this, and I should mention it only comes in fine or medium from the factory. However, it's a Bach nib, so you can put different nibs in there, which is what I ended up doing, but we'll get into that in a minute. So anyway, so I got a fine, and I didn't care for it all that much just because I was already big into machine pens. So I figured if I was just going to use, at that time I was using just the black ink cartridges that came with it, it was really nothing that special. So I wasn't getting the good inks, the good ink qualities. It does come with a converter. We'll show you that in a little bit. But anyway, I guess the moral of my story is if you're coming from machine pens, if you've got billet spins and Q3Ds or SPPs or tactile turns, whatever you might have, you might just want to start with a medium, or dare I say a bold nib, because then you're really going to enjoy the ink more than necessarily a fine nib. And that's what sets fountain pens apart, is really the ink. Well, aside from the experience of using nib and the whole feel. But anyway, so let's get back into the pen. So this pen, like we said, it is a Xezo Maestro. Let's zoom on in there. You can see it's right up there. Xezo Maestro, 18 karat plated, limited edition. This one happens to be number 420, and 2020 was the year I got the pen. It's got some nice engraving of like a leaf there, you can see. That goes all the way around the cap. The clip is also gold plated. It's nice. It's, I wear it with pants, no problem. So springy enough you can kind of get there. And then here's the end. The end is also gold plated, and it's got the threads on there. So the cap is postable, so you can go ahead and post the cap if you want. You can align the threads, like if you don't like where that is, you can just keep going and realigning it until you get it to the position you prefer. For some reason I kind of like it close to it like that, so it's near the nib. The nib that came with it, and let's get into that. I looked high and dry, guys. I could not find the nib that came with this. It's the nib that actually comes with this pen is a steel nib from Germany, and it's got gold plating on it, even though it's steel, so it does look nice with the gold plating. But like I said, I didn't care for that fine nib. I ended up meeting another guy on Discord who's big in the fountain pen world, Brownie, over on one of the bigger fountain pen Discords, if you know him, and he was getting into machine pens, so I traded him a Q3D Nerly for a 3776, and he tossed in this nib because he knew I didn't like the other fine nib. This nib I love. This is a Nimacine, made in Germany. It's a steel nib, and this one is a 1.1 stub, and that's where I really started to really enjoy fountain pens, is once I got into the stubs and the different sizes where I could really see the ink and enjoy the ink well. So let's go back. So the body unscrews here. I've got my converter in there. It's actually a really good size converter. I'd say it's definitely in between a Con 40 and a Con 70. It's closer to the Con 70 size. It holds a decent amount of ink. Twist it there to, move the mechanism, fill, or empty. I gotta fill mine, as you can see. I keep Emerald of Chabor ink in this pen just because it's one of my top 3 all-time favorite inks, and then, it matches well with the abalone. Let's see. So we showed you the inside, we showed you the cap posting. I should have done this earlier, but let's go ahead and show you how it comes actually. So it comes with a nice case. It's like a mock faux, I don't know, alligator, like snake looking type thing. It opens up like that. It also does come with some nice documentation too. Let's see, there you go. That tells you like all about how to properly use your pen, which doesn't come with all the fountain pens out there. So that was kind of a nice implementation. So, you know, the actual inside came with, you know, a warranty card. It was warranted for 3 years, which is, you know, they stand behind their product, so that's a good thing. Came with a little box with some, so it does come with the converter, and it also comes with some cartridges. I was using these cartridges for the first year or two with it, and maybe that's why I didn't really take to the pen too. Maybe if I tried some, you know, Emerald of Chivor in that fine, in the fine nib, maybe I would have appreciated it more. But like I said, the ink is one of the things that really makes fountain pens shine. Aside from the beautiful abalone on this one. So I've always loved abalone. I have it on some of my nicer guitars as inlays, so I actually kind of wanted a pen that would kind of match one of my guitars, which is kind of funny. But yeah, so the abalone is great, as you can see. It's very well done. It runs the entire length of the pen. It's covered by a very smooth resin. It's not as smooth as my Arushi pen. However, this is very smooth, to the point that it's commendable. There's no visible or feelable imperfections or, you know, divots in the resin. It's very smooth and cylindrical the entire length of it. The gold plating looks great. There's no lackluster areas that look like they didn't get plated well. The fact that they've got that little engraving up there is actually kind of nice too. And it's a very comfortable pen. Even though the cap does post, I usually use it unposted. I don't know, I just find it makes it a little heavier. I like kind of better control. So I usually use it unposted just like that. The grip section has a nice kind of little concave section where you can grip it. And yeah, this is an all-around great pen, especially now that I put that nib in there. I'm keeping this one around. It's a beautiful pen. It performs really well. The converter holds a good amount in there. And it's just a great recommendation if you're getting into fountain pens and you want something kind of more fancy, but you don't want to necessarily spend, you know, Visconti money. Obviously, this is nowhere near a Visconti. I don't own a Visconti, but this is just a kind of, you know, in that middle tier where it's not an entry-level pen, but at the same time you're not spending like your entire, you know, mortgage on a pen. So, but anyway, if you guys have any other questions, oh, you know what? Let's do a size comparison or two. There we go. Boom. All right, so we've got that there. Let's do a size comparison to a 3776 because that is one of the other common pens I have here. 3776, it's a little bit shorter. You can kind of see that. A little bit shorter, especially when you take the caps off. The 3776 is definitely shorter. Here it is up against a Pilot Vanishing Point, and that's one of the other pens that really got me into the fountain pens, and I'll talk about that one in another time. But you can see it's kind of right in there at a kind of a standard-ish, not too thick, not too long, kind of a standard length that you'll find a lot in the fountain pen world. But all right, my friends. Well, if there's anything else you would like to know about this, please leave a comment down below, and I will try and answer any other questions.